team is hungry. This team isn't done. This team is not going to be denied.
Energy all day! Energy all day!
Nick Bolton makes the hit. It's intercepted by Brian Cook. It's Mahomes gunning it low. Cook!
The Chiefs lost an absolute heartbreaker last week that came down to the final seconds. But there's no time to dwell on it. Our goals are all still right there. It's just a matter of getting back in the win column. And hopefully that can begin today with a matchup against an old rival in the Indianapolis Colts. We are 2 hours from kickoff. You've waited all week for this very moment. It's finally here. It is time for football in Chiefs Kingdom. Let's do this. My name is Matt McMullen, joined by voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. This is Field Pass, presented by StorageMart. And Mitch, heartbreaker last week, but I think the best way to get over a tough game like that is finding a way to win here today.
Yeah, and we've seen this Chiefs team do it repeatedly. We have kind of this recency bias, but if you look at the 13 years of Andy Reid, this has been done over and over and over again. Now, huge challenge today with the Colts, but I expect the Chiefs to meet that challenge and start driving forward, as we said on the podcast, one-game season.
Yeah, it will be a challenge. What a season the Colts are having, kind of out of nowhere, especially on offense. These guys lead the NFL in basically every offensive category: points per game, yards per game, point differential, yards per play, first downs per game. The list goes on. How do you explain the success of the Colts offense this year?
Well, first of all, they were vastly underrated. Nobody sees the Colts.
Yeah.
Right? They pop up on your phone of like, oh, they won or they lost. They're not on prime time. They will be soon. But this is a comprehensive team. There's way more than Jonathan Taylor to this team. We'll get into it, I know. And then we all think, well, Daniel Jones, he's the guy that fell down with nobody around him with the Giants bumbling through 2-15 seasons. No, he's had a good year. They have a good line. They're comprehensive on offense. I don't see a weakness on their offensive team.
Yeah, their balance stands out to me. This is the number 3 rushing offense and the number 3 passing offense in the NFL. But the engine that makes the whole thing go is Jonathan Taylor. He's having an MVP caliber year, leads the NFL in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. But maybe the most telling stat for Taylor is only James Cook has more total rushing yards than Taylor has just after contact this season. He has 891 yards after contact this year. That's the first priority for the Chiefs today. You can't let Taylor wreck this game.
And he can wreck a game. Ask Atlanta, because their game overseas, he had 286 scrimmage yards and 3 touchdowns. Only 3 players in the history of the NFL have been able to do it. He's just a superb player, and he's got a Saquon Barkley season going from last year, but he also led the league in rushing with 1,800 yards in 2021. Taylor's just like this whole Colts team. They're an undertold story. But they also have skill people on the outside. And so you have to respect every part of their game, not just Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, their passing attack is very impressive as well. And what a season Daniel Jones is having. He leads the NFL in passing yards per game. He's 3rd in completion percentage and 4th in yards per attempt. How do you explain the season Daniel Jones has had this year?
Well, and they're scoring. They're at 32.1 points per game.
Yeah.
That is the best for the Colts since Peyton Manning of 2004. So keep that in mind. They're scoring at that kind of clip, and their points per possession is the second of any team in 25 years. Now, to answer your question, I think that, one, he's surrounded with a great cast now. They have a good offensive line, maybe not as good as they've been, but they're good. And then he's got all this skill, and they've got a pretty good plan in place. So, and we'll talk about Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren has made the difference for this team. He's a baby Kelsey. In the fact that when we liked him when they drafted him out of Penn State, but he's made a huge difference in Daniel Jones' career and throughout this whole team.
Yeah, weapons everywhere. The Colts are actually the only team in the NFL this year to have 3 different players, all with at least 550 receiving yards, with Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, and Alec Pierce. So how do we slow these guys down? I think it gets back to creating pressure on Daniel Jones, right? When he's faced a higher pressure rate this year, he has struggled. He's thrown 4 interceptions and fumbled the ball 6 times over his last 2 games, often because of pressure. We got to find a way to consistently generate pressure in this game.
I agree, but you can't just go to Hy-Vee and get pressure.
Buy some pressure.
Buy some pressure. You've got to win on first down in this game, and that means not just defending the run, which is obvious. The Colts are trying to be unpredictable. their first down pass rate would stun you. And so the fact that they want to pass on first down, even if it's a short gain, and then get second and short, where now they've got you on skates a little bit. So winning first down, whether that's a pass or a run, seems obvious against most teams, but against certain teams it's paramount. And this team, it's of utmost importance, either pass or run, to win on first down.
Now, speaking of pressure, let's talk about the Colts defense a little bit. Pretty good defense, number 9 scoring defense in the NFL, and it's led by Lou Anarumo, who we know all about during our battles with the Cincinnati Bengals over the years. What stands out to you about this Colts defense?
Again, better as advertised, and they've got now good players at all 3 levels. Kwity Paye is very underrated as a pass rusher. In fact, they have 3 players with 30+% pressure rate. Latu is one, and then Kwity Paye is the other one. And then Buckner's out, which is huge, no pun intended for them. But Zaire Franklin is very much like a Nick Bolton. He's been so productive for years. People now, just because, and they're winning, they're like, wow, maybe Zaire Franklin's pretty good. And then we should have known. We should have known when they made the trade for Sauce Gardner what was going on with the Colts, because Chris Ballard, who was with us for 4 years, good dude, I think was making a move, not just, oh, the Colts are a nice little story. He thinks they can win the AFC. He thinks they can be in Santa Clara. And the Sauce Gardner move was profound. And so that's an elite player that they have on the back end.
You mentioned DeForest Buckner, though. Not going to have him now for, I think, the 2nd straight game. Yep. He's on injured reserve right now with a neck injury. Really significant deal for them. How's that changed them defensively?
Well, they've had to be more collective on the inside. He put such a push on. It helps those outside pass rushers, Latu and Kwity Paye. But now, all of a sudden, you can give a little bit of attention to those outside guys. So, again, to have good players, front, middle, back, but to have elite player front and back and a really good player in the middle sets the Colts at the upper echelon of teams in the NFL.
Still a lot of playmakers, though, even without him. Likely getting Charvarius Ward back today. And this will actually be the first time, assuming that Charvarius plays, they'll have Ward and Sauce Gardner on the field at the same time.
Yep.
Overall, though, it's kind of interesting and surprising. They have struggled in a few key areas defensively this year. So they're 24th in red zone defense, 25th in terms of passing yards allowed per game, and 27th on third down. I think they'll be better than those numbers because they have Sauce Gardner now, but still, I think the Chiefs will have opportunities to move the ball in this game, just a matter of seizing them.
Yeah, but that mapping is also without the group you just said, and then I want to mention Kenny Moore, the second, who some think is the best nickel guy in the league, or one of the best. They've never had this mapping.
No.
So they think they can play more man. Lou Anarumo feels like he's got more of like a Bengals in their heyday 21-22 kind of defense to go against the Chiefs. And so they feel like they can improve in every one of those stats, and they'll be harder to score against in the red zone.
Well, you know what's interesting is the Chiefs remain a top 10 offense in terms of like virtually every offensive metric. I mean, scoring offense, total offense, third down, successful play rate, total touchdowns, even EPA, which is like an advanced metric, has the Chiefs as the number 2 offense in the NFL. So why are we 5-5? Again, it's missed opportunities, right? And you got to seize those opportunities here today. With that in mind, what are you hoping to see out of the Chiefs offense here in this one?
I'm going to give you a baseball analogy. You and I both like baseball, but it's like the bases were loaded with 1 out in the 8th inning, and you didn't get them home.
Yeah.
That's what we look at. Well, the bases can be loaded with 1 out in the 5th inning or the 3rd inning, and you didn't get them home. So to me, my answer to you is in looking at this Chiefs season, in the 5 losses, there are critical times, and it could be the 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter. We talked about having the back-to-back possessions 9 out of 10 times. But the fact that when it's critical and you've got a chance to seize it. Now all of a sudden you go up 7, you go up 10, and the game changes dramatically, physically and emotionally. The Chiefs have to, in their 5 losses, have missed those opportunities. In the 5 wins, they've capitalized on it.
Now we're back at home, which is a benefit. Since week 4, the Chiefs are undefeated at home. They're 4-0, and they're outscoring their opponents by 20 points in those games. No quarterback has more passing touchdowns at home this year than Patrick Mahomes. He has 14 of them. And, I've been thinking about it all week. This situation really reminds me a lot of our game against the Lions back in week 6. I mean, think about the circumstances there. The Chiefs were coming off a heartbreaking loss on the road to the Jags, a game that we kind of felt like we had and gave away, right? Kind of similar to last week against Denver. And in Week 6, we are coming back to play the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL in Detroit, a team that was playing really well. And how did the Chiefs respond? They had their best game of the season, right? I would love to see a similar response here today. What do you think?
Pat has never lost 3 games in a row in the regular season. He's 5-0 when he's faced this situation. I think he's super locked in. And if the Colts are going to win this game, they're going to have to knock the Chiefs out. If the Chiefs are going to win this game, they got to knock the Colts out. This isn't going to be a technical decision made by some boxing referee. But Pat is coming into this game with guns blazing. This is where Pat usually shines the brightest.
Now, one player we're counting on here today is Kareem Hunt, and we had a chance to catch up with Kareem on our podcast earlier this week.
All right, with a big game coming up against the Colts, the guy that does all the dirty work of what's required, and he does it well, Kareem Hunt. What about that role? Because I love it the way you've embraced it. It's like, what do y'all need? I'll give it to you better than you thought you needed.
I mean, it's one of those things that, you got to get those, dirty yards, and I feel like, I'm one of those guys who can, find a little crease, anything to, make the most out the play to keep our offense on the field. So, that's what I take pride in doing.
Kareem, you've played a lot of football in your career, been a part of a lot of locker rooms and a lot of big wins. What about this locker room gives you confidence you guys can attack the final 7 games of the season and win these games?
Like I said, we have a bunch of guys who've played a lot of football. We have guys who are great leaders, and we've played in a lot of big games. So I feel like we just got to take it one play at a time, one game at a time, and just, be ourselves.
It seems like the more physical the game, the more you love it. What about, hey, you can't make it too hard for you?
No, definitely not. And that's one thing I like to, bring to the table, and, physicality and wearing the defense out and, making good blocks so Pat can get the ball off and, those other guys can make plays.
I think it's so cool that you've taken advantage of your opportunity here the second time around. If I told you in early September of last year that right now you'd be leading the Chiefs in total touchdowns and rushing yards and all this, I mean, what would you say?
I mean, I probably wouldn't believe it, but it's just crazy how things work out. And, I like to make the most of every opportunity I get, and being back here is another opportunity, so I get to make the most of it.
Quick question about the Colts, opponent specific. This defense may be a little bit underrated. What are you guys seeing there?
Oh, they have a good front seven, man. They got, guys who played a lot of football there, and right now they're playing as a team. They're doing a great job, man, of winning football games.
It's going to be noon at the stadium on a Sunday. It's going to be like 55 degrees, like a nice fall day. Is it the perfect kind of day to run the football, do you think?
Oh, that's a perfect type of day. Any day to run the football is the perfect day for me. So.
How many carries you want?
As many as it takes to get the win. So that's the only thing I care about is wins and losses.
Yes, sir.
And that is why this guy is so valuable to this team.
All right, great stuff there from Kareem. We need Kareem at his best here today.
I've used him all week long as my thesis point. He does the dirty work. Your neighbor across the street,
Jeff, shout out to Jeff.
Jeff will do all the dirty work. He'll
mowed my lawn yesterday, actually.
See? That's Kareem Hunt. 11 times he's carried it on 3rd and 1. He's made 9. He's number 1 in the league. And that Josh Jacobs is the only guy that's had 11 carries on 3rd and 1, and he's made 7. The point is, Kareem Hunt, if this season's going to turn around, if the Chiefs win today, Kareem Hunt has got to be a major part of it. That's not running for 50 yards, but that's keeping drives alive. Going to that critical point that I talked about earlier, that he makes a semi-critical play to set you up to make the critical play. Kareem Hunt is super valuable to this team.
Should get the inactives here in a couple minutes. First, a quick announcement. So today is our Chiefs Kingdom food drive. Always a really cool thing. Raises so much money and gathers so much food for people in need in our area, right? Thousands of people in the 26-county area around Kansas City that have food insecurities during the holiday season. The Chiefs Kingdom Food Drive helps with that. For more information on it, because even if you're not here, you can still help, visit chiefs.com/food drive. You can donate online right now. You can change a family's life here in Kansas City and their holiday season right now. So while we're waiting for inactives, I encourage everyone, go to chiefs.com/food drive. Help some people out here in Kansas City. Always pretty cool, right?
The Kingdom, we take it for granted how the Kingdom responds. to ventures like this, and to, it's Cause for Cleats Day.
Yeah.
The guys are wearing their Cause for Cleats, and you just see how benevolent our players are, how our organization is, and how the kingdom is. And this time of year, you talk about food insecurities. Many of you will sit down and just have this abundance of food. There are so many that have nothing, but through this food drive, they can have something. And so, way to go. Just let's do what we can, even if you know of somebody personally that you can help. It's what we do in the kingdom. I love it.
Yeah, it sure is. So help us out one more time, Chiefs.com/food drive for more information. Okay, we'll get the inactives here in a second. We know Isaiah Pacheco isn't going to play, though, today with that knee injury. Third game in a row without Isaiah, but he did practice this week, which is a good sign moving forward.
Well, you just don't know about – you can't – it's a one-game season. Nothing will ever happen other than this game. Yeah. We also know at the end of this game, it's Wednesday of Cowboy Week. And so you just hope that maybe you can have Pop for the game on Thursday in Dallas. But you got to be ready at running back to do what you've done without Pop in these last two games. And that means it's a committee. Talked about Kareem Hunt. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be active for this game.
Wow.
They elevated him. And so I anticipate he'll be there and get some opportunities. He's got to make the most of it. So at running back, it's got to be productive enough. It's not going to win your fantasy league, but it's got to win the reality game.
We're waiting on the reports for Kingsley Suamataia, who is questionable in concussion protocol, and Xavier Worthy, who's questionable with an ankle injury. As soon as I get those, I'll let everybody know. Trevarius Ward for the Colts is technically questionable in concussion protocol. We very much expect he will play. It'll be his first appearance since Week 5. Oh, here we are. We have the inactives. Okay, so for the Chiefs, Xavier Worthy is active. That's great news. And Kingsley Suamataia is active. So great news for the Chiefs. We are worried about those two, obviously two big contributors. We'll have Kingsley and Xavier here today. Great news.
Yeah, so really only Pop is the injury situation. And for the Colts, they're relatively healthy, but Brinson Buckner is out. And so we mentioned him, the fact that he won't play, and that's a big deal. But the fact that, and we'll keep an eye on Xavier, right? And but Kingsley, great to have him there side to side with Josh Simmons. Let's go eat.
Let's also keep an eye on Daniel Jones. So he was limited in practice on Thursday with a calf injury. Seems like it's not a very big deal, but could be worth monitoring. We'll see.
Why'd they put fibula on the injury report?
I don't know. It's always weird. I don't know.
It would be like fingernail. He's got a fingernail injury, and then they'd put heart on the injury report. Like he's got a bad heart. So fibula is a little bit of a deal. So the calf, and there's the calf, and then there's the fibula. So to me, it's I'm not a doctor. I'm not I'm not a kinesiologist, but it seems like kind of a big deal.
Yeah, he practiced in full on Friday, and the Colts said it wasn't a big deal. It probably isn't, but just something to keep an eye on here in this game. Well, here we go, Mitch. It's been a tough couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
But there's no better time than to turn things around than right now. This team is often at their absolute best when their backs are up against the wall and when the challenge is greatest. Let's see how they respond here today. For Mitch Holthus, I'm Matt McMullen. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Let's go get a victory!